Hey, how's you going, boys? Mike here. Welcome back to Grampie's workshop. Boys, I'm glad you dropped in today because it's modification day in the shop. Yeah. I've got my MK Martin 50-inch Meteor rear mount snowblower in the shop again today. One last little thing I want to do before winter, and that's I want to increase the size of the baffle plate that I installed on the impeller opening last year. Last year I just made a little wooden one, put some sheet aluminum around it, just as a trial more than anything. And I just covered over a little small portion of the top left quadrant of the impeller opening on my snowblower. And that was in an effort to try to keep the snow from falling out the front of the snowblower and get more of it available to go out through the chute and get blown away. That seemed to work pretty good. And when you look on the snowblower website, you see a lot of the snowblowers now do have these little baffle plates, I'm going to call them, that covers the top portion. And I think what it does is it keeps the snow on the impeller so that it can get out the chute instead of tumbling back out the front, so that the augers can catch it again and pull it back into the impeller. Anyway, that's another story. The baffle plate that I made, I think, was too small last year, so I want to make a big one. So that's my modification on the snowblower today, is to make a bigger baffle plate. So stand by, I might be asking questions. The snowblower operates in this manner here. So it grabs snow, these augers grab the snow, bring the snow to the middle. Then these pieces here push that snow into the impeller. The impeller, spinning in this direction, sends it up and out the chute. What I was finding is, as the impellers get up, say about this high, the snow would sometimes tumble off the impeller, fall back out on top of the auger would bring it back in, but there was a lot of it falling out the top. It just didn't seem to be as efficient as I thought it could be. So I was thinking, if I were to put this in here, that would help keep the snow in the impeller longer and maybe get more of the snow out the chute and make the whole process more efficient. Anyway, this seemed to work pretty good. I think it made some improvement, but you'll see when I take this off, there's only like 3 inches here of gap of space between the edge of this impeller and the inside of this where the impeller rotate, or where the impeller rotates, right? So I'm thinking I'm going to put a proper piece of metal on there this year, but try to make it bigger, try to cover more of that opening. I don't want to cover so much that it'll impede the snow from getting into the impeller, but I want to make it big enough so that it keeps the snow from falling out of the impeller as the impeller is rotating. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to go to work and take this off and try to get a measurement to come up with something that would be maybe a better replacement for this, a little bit bigger, but not so big that it blocks off this hole. So, a lot of talk about that, but I'm going to take this off. What I did was I just put a couple of self-tapping sheet metal screws in here. So we'll take those out. I see I had 3 of them in it, one of them fell out already. But anyway, there's what's left of my chute. It lasted pretty good, just with that aluminum skin on it. Kind of got a wow into it, but it was only 3/8 plywood inside it. But anyway, there you see the normal opening is like that. So what I want to do is try to cover off as much of this as I can. So I was looking around the shop to see what I come up with. I'd like to put a piece of metal in here. Anyway, what I found was this piece right here. What this is for those people with wood stoves, they have insulated flue out the side of their building. This is one of the angle brackets that supports the base of the flue. This will bolt to the building on this side, right here, and then the flue will rest on top of this. There's 2 of them, one on either side. Anyway, I took my wood stove out of the shop here, took my flue down, so this is available to me now. So I thought, it's already on an angle, maybe this would work. So if I place that in there, doesn't look too bad. I'm wondering if it might be covering too much of the top left quadrant, but I'm not sure. So then what I did was, I thought, well, maybe we could try it this way. Alright, so now that's just covering the top half of the top left quadrant. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do just yet. But anyways, I think if I were to take, like, say from the middle of this impeller opening and put the long leg on the top, then this side comes down just a little bit above center of the impeller opening. So that might be decent. But I think I'm going to try it. So what I have to do is cut these flanges off the edges here so that it'll fit in better. Maybe not this top one, but definitely cut this side one off. I'm going to leave this flange on the bottom because that gives a little bit of rigidity. I'll have to notch it to fit in there correctly. But that might be not a bad solution. I'm going to try it anyways. And if we compare that to what I had before, if that's going to go in there, and this is what was there, so I'm getting more coverage up here. So, you know, I think that might make a better solution. Just bend it a little at a time. Now I think if I beat on it for a while, I'm going to put my ear plugs on. Alright, that didn't turn out too bad. I might just leave this one bent on the top, and I'm going to mark now this one to see where I have to nip it, and maybe cut that off to fit around the impeller opening. So, about like that. So I need to cut this here somewhere. So I guess I have to take the grinder to it. Try to straighten this out again. Not too bad. Let's go try it. Doesn't fit too bad. Now I had 1, 2, 3 holes holding the other piece on. So I'd like to find those holes, mark them on this, and maybe put a couple more back on this side. Alright, so I have my bracket clamped in there. So I'm going to go around back and mark where the screw holes are. So I have an awl here, scratch awl, just to see if I can mark it with that. They're awful hard to see. One there, one there. Yeah, and that was it right there. I just wiped it off. So I'll mark it again. Right there. So I'm going to go, I'm going to drill 3 holes in this and then see if I can screw it back onto the blower. So I just drilled some pilot holes here, 3 of them, set it back in place, and I can see light through each of them, so I think I got the holes in the right spots. So now I'm just going to drill those larger so that my self-tapping sheet metal screws can go in there. When I was test fitting this, I found this top flange here wasn't fitting right tight against the top of the snowblower enclosure, and that's because this top piece is kind of flared up, opens up. So what I did was I just put a little tiny flare on this too, just moves it up a little bit so it will fit tighter. So there, that works pretty good. Now we'll put our clamp back on here. See if this middle hole is lined up. Hard to believe, but I got those holes to line up. Good clearance there where this little flange comes over. It still clears the paddles on the impeller. I might just put 3 screws in here though just to hold it. So I'm just using their 5/8 inch self-tapping, self-drilling, self-tapping sheet metal screws. So I'm going to put one right down here. When I push on the snowblower, it moves the whole fender lift. Going up here. I'm going to put one more in the middle. Alrighty. So because those screws are sticking out the back of the snowblower there, I'm afraid I'll catch my hand on them or catch something on them. So I thought I had some little rubber grommets to put on them, but I don't. So what I have is some doweling here. I'm going to just drill a hole in the end of it. And then I'm going to go cut 3/4 inch or inch long pieces off that and use those. So there's one. They look kind of chintzy, but it'll keep you from scratching your fingers, your hands on them anyways. I thought I got those holes in the middle. I didn't do a very good job. And if they get knocked off through the winter, I'll just replace them. So that baffle plate there, I think it's going to work better than the old one. It's bigger. It's certainly covering a good portion of that impeller opening. So hopefully that'll keep that little bit of snow that tumbles out the front, keep that on the impeller blades and make it go out the chute. But you never know. It may just cause the chute to clog up. You never know till you try, right? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try it. We'll see how it makes out. So thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, I'm so glad you dropped by. I hope you come back again soon. And everyone out there, please thumbs up me and come back for my next video. Take care everyone, and we'll talk to you.